We tried to play Grounded 2 in co-op the second it hit early access. And after losing our first save file and having to restart, we tested it for another 5 hours. And honestly, it was still worth it. Because even in this early, unpolished state, it already has ideas we're obsessed with. Especially for co-op fans and long-time Grounded players. So let's talk about what's fun, what's not, what's broken, and why this might become one of our favorite new survival games, once it's actually finished. But first, if you're new to Grounded, here's a quick rundown of what this sequel is, and why it will instantly click with you if you loved the first game or are just hunting for a fun new survival co-op. Also, no story spoilers in this video. None. We won't be talking about or showing them, just gameplay and features. Grounded 2, like its predecessor, is a survival crafting game with base building and a narrative, all set in a world where a group of teenagers gets shrunk down to ant size. Like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but actually your parents somehow aren't even looking for you. Nice. But this time the teens are back, a little older, and instead of a backyard, they are now stuck trying to survive in Brook Hollow Park. Again, you have to survive by grilling aphids and building grass huts, and your only contact is an evil company. Also nice.
Besides the new setting and some new creatures, Grounded 2 brings many fresh mechanics to the picnic table that make it feel like more than just a 1.5 or a big DLC. Some systems have improved, some are brand new, and most of them just make sense. One of these amazing new features is the Omni tool. Instead of juggling 5 different tools, you now have one multi-tool that does it all. Chopping, digging, smashing. And it can be upgraded to harvest higher tier materials too. It frees up space on your hotbar and your inventory, and it's just a really smart addition. But the most mind-blowing addition has to be the buggies. You can hatch insects, saddle them up, and zoom around the park. They have their own inventory, can harvest grass while you're riding, and carry way more building supplies than you. Oh, and they can fight, even while you're mounted. You can block, dodge, and even dismount to have them assist you like a companion. You can pet them, name them, and if they fall, you have got a short window to revive them. Just don't wait too long, or you will have to wait for them to respawn. Right now, it's just ants and spiders, but more are coming. And we will show you what's planned on the roadmap for that a bit later on in the video.
So far, systems like base building feel snappier. And you unlock recipes faster, which really helps the early loot. They've also brought back some great little features from the first game, like the card collection that shows you enemy weaknesses, or the molars to upgrade your stats. It feels familiar but fresh, and that's one reason it definitely doesn't feel like a DLC. Now for co-op. The core co-op structure is the same. Online co-op for up to 4 players. No couch co-op or split screen. But it's on Game Pass and there's crossplay between PC and Xbox, which makes it super accessible. You can host a standard world, where one player owns the save and you need them to be online to play. Or a shared world, where anyone in the group can host. But be warned, your progress gets saved to whoever was last online. And we've seen some players reporting issues on that. So yeah, always back up your worlds. So do you need to have played Grounded 1? Not necessarily, but it helps, a lot. The story picks up years after the first game and assumes you know some key characters and concepts, like what Ominent is or why Burgle matters. They do give you a short refresher, but if you skip the first one, there will definitely be some who moments. Also, Grounded 1 is just really a good game. If you haven't played it, this is your sign to go check it out. Ideally with at least one friend in co-op, of course. The first one also does a better job onboarding new players. Right now, Grounded 2 has tutorials, but we still missed a few important things early on. So if you're new, starting with part 1 is actually a smart move. Next, let's talk about our pros and cons, what we loved and what not about Grounded 2 right now.
First off, the RPG feel. Where the first game had you sprinting around collecting stuff left and right just to escape that backyard ASAP, Grounded 2 dials that urgency way down. And that's a good thing, because now the focus is more on your characters and their interactions. Sure, you're still picking up everything you come across. But now there are skill trees, tool progressions and even armor sets right from the start. Just like in its predecessor, you unlock mutations by doing literally anything, and those in turn help you do exactly that, just better. So if you have got dreams of becoming the ultimate archer or rock-solid tank, you can start building towards that from the get-go. And the best part? Your companions actually comment on everything that's happening, making co-op an absolute delight. There are so many little moments that trigger conversations between the characters. It gives exploration a whole new layer of depth. Obviously, the more characters there are, the more they talk. But even with just the two of us, there was a constant dynamic back and forth, tied directly to what we were doing. The co-op itself is also easily one of the standout features, especially if you're into the whole archer and tank fantasy, or actually any other class. And yeah, it works really well. Having Lumi up front, tanking that nasty spider in her shiny bug armor while simultaneously screaming is just a delight. Especially when I'm safely in the back, landing bullseye after bullseye. But jokes aside, multiplayer holds up just as well as it did in the first game. Whether you're fighting, building, exploring or trading, everything is there and it all works smoothly. The game also offers voice and text chats, as well as emotes. And if you have got a brave girl at your side who just so happens to be a little bit afraid of giant spiders, don't worry. The Arachnophobia mode is back, along with a ton of other accessibility options.
Then there's the whole quality of life stuff, which has really taken a step forward. Compared to the first game, Grounded 2 introduces improvements across the board, big and small. Menus now feel sleeker, less cluttered, and actually show everything you need at a glance. Building also feels way snappier. And then there's the Omni tool, a massive game changer. Gone are the days of juggling a heap of tools and constantly swapping them in and out. The Omni tool does it all, and doesn't even use up a slot on your hotbar. And then there is the buggies. Where do we even begin? They looked fun in the trailers, but once you unlock them, they completely changed the game, shifting everything that has felt like work into the realms of pure fun. Looting like a vacuum? Check. Carrying more than you ever could before? Check. Speeding around the map like an ant on a sugar high? Absolutely check. But they aren't just little worker drones. They can fight alongside you, even recruit other insects, making the world and its story-high spiders a little less terrifying, shifting the power balance ever so slightly in your favor. As for the overall setting, it's kind of a mix. If you liked the first one, you'll definitely like the second. It's very similar. You will run into familiar insects and arachnids, craft many of the same items and buildings, especially early on, and explore surroundings that feel like they could have been just around the corner from the original backyard. As you progress, you will meet some new wildlife, like snails and caterpillars, unlock more novel recipes, and come across new resources. But the general vibe remains very familiar. Depending on your expectations, that can be a good thing, or a letdown. We actually debated whether this could have been a DLC instead of a full game, but in the end, making it a standalone probably was the better call, especially when you consider the roadmap, which we will get into later. Many of the new systems, like the buggies or Omni tool, just wouldn't have worked in the old map. The backyard simply didn't have the space or the gameplay flexibility. Also, launching it in early access gives the devs room to expand, something a DLC wouldn't have allowed. That was the case with the original Grounded as well, and with the $30 price tag, you are essentially paying what you would expect for a DLC anyway. That said, we would have loved to see a fresh environment this time around, like a beach house garden, seasons, or even a tropical zoo. Maybe in Grounded 3.
Now, the game just launched, and with a roadmap that stretches over more than a year, it's no surprise that it isn't in perfect shape. But some of the issues we encountered were a bit disappointing, especially given how solid the first game eventually became. For instance, lighting glitches, flickering textures and shadows that come and go, physics and mesh bugs that cause enemies or items to fall through the ground or float into the void, audio glitches where effects occasionally blast way louder than intended. All stuff you would think they already ironed out in the first game. We suspect that the switch from Unreal Engine 4 to 5 might be the root cause, as optimization seems to be an issue too. Even with RTX 40 and 50 series cards, we were getting 40 to 60 FPS max on epic settings. Player syncing is a little janky as well, sometimes leading to stuttering visuals in co-op. None of these are game-breaking, except for our first 4 hours of gameplay, which ended in a crash, and to top it off, the autosave never triggered, not even once. So yeah, we are basically first 4 hours specialists at this point. Our hottest tip? Make sure it's actually saving, and hit manual save just to be safe. Outside the technical issues, there's not much we didn't like, but a few things that might be annoying for some of you. Since Obsidian is owned by Microsoft, you are forced to create an Xbox gaming account if you want to play in co-op. Especially when playing on Steam in 2025, this feels like an unnecessary overhead. And speaking of Steam, features like native Steam invites don't work, and probably never will, due to the mentioned account requirement. We have mostly moved past the era where every game needs its own launcher with login, but apparently Microsoft didn't get the complete memo. One more thing worth noting, tutorials are still a little sparse right now. If you haven't played the first game, you will probably find yourself digging through the handbook or googling things a lot more than you should. So it might actually make sense to play the original first, if only to get all the references and character backstories. And lastly, the whole early access topic. Yeah, we get it. At this point, it's hard to even tell what's an early access, what's a beta, or what's just a broken full release. We would all love finished products on day one, but even those are a hit or miss these days. The original Grounded also spent a long time in early access, and we played it both early and at release. Both experiences felt completely different, and that gave us confidence that Obsidian listens to player feedback and improves over time. Currently, you are already getting a good chunk of content for your money. But since it's not the final version, there is always the risk of save wipes. These are usually announced, sure, but if you are the type to sink hundreds of hours into building castles, just keep that in mind before going overboard. So that's our take, but if early access just isn't your thing, we totally get it.
That's about what's there right now, but we promised you that we'd have a peek at what's planned for the next year of development. So let's take a look at the roadmap. Coming this fall, we'll get a new creature called Axel, complete with its own boss arena, armor and weapon recipes. We don't know much, but lore hints at venom. So maybe it's a spider? Hell no, Obsidian. Literally anything would be better. Even a giant snake or even a squirrel shooting venom guns. I don't know. Then in winter we'll get a new zone in the park. New insects like crickets and earwigs, and even the ladybug as a buggy. Mushroom furniture, tier 3 gear, more Omnitool upgrades, and Steam Deck and Rock Ally verification are also on the way. Then next summer, 2 massive features are coming. Base building on water and water buggies, plus zip lines to connect your bases. Yes, please. And one more thing. There's a whole section of the roadmap reserved for community requested features. And we're hyped for that. Grounded has a really creative fan base, and early access is the perfect time to take advantage of that. Personally, I want bees or butterflies as flying buggies, even if it's just for late game or creative mode. Or, even better, 2-person mounts where one flies and the other one drops bombs. Come on, Obsidian, let's go! So now you know our thoughts and what's planned for the future. And we know, at least for now, not all is perfect. We went over what we loved, as well as the biggest issues in our pros and cons. But here's the short version. Performance needs work. And yes, we lost our entire save in multiplayer on day 2. That's the kind of bug that really should have been caught before launch. And while that's early access for you, it still stings. If you're planning to jump in now, just be warned that you're putting up with a game in development. So, should you play Grounded 2 right now? If you loved the first game and are down for more, with better systems and a few fun surprises, yes, even with the jank, it's a blast with friends. But if you want polish, or you're running mid-range hardware, you might want to wait for a few updates. There's also the chance your save file won't survive future patches, so keep that in mind. We'll keep testing every big update in co-op, so if you're curious how Grounded 2 evolves, hit subscribe. And welcome to our fun little community. Until then, good luck out there in co-op, and don't forget to bring extra bandages for your friends. And we'll see you in the next one.